Okay, season 3, we have made it. I can't believe we made it through 1, 2, 3. Three seasons here. This is episode 1 of season 3 of the Immigration Status Podcast. I'm Myron Turner, and I'm so glad to be back. I can't believe I keep saying 3. Like, it's really, really amazing. Big thank you to the Ministry of Ethnic Communities. Big thank you to Uranga. Thank you to the Campfire Studios for this amazing studio that we're in. And I'm excited for what's to come. Today we're talking to very, very special guest, Justin Nalize Browne, all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. Been here for 3.5 years. Let's tune in. Let's get into it. Okay, Justin and Nalize, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us, Mar.
Man, I'm so glad to have you guys. I've only known you for a short time, but in that time frame, you guys have definitely, been really impressive in the way you move and the way you operate. Just who you are as people as well. Really, really nice, down to earth people. So you fit right into New Zealand. Unlike myself, I definitely stick out like a sore thumb being here, African American person in New Zealand. But you are here with me on season 3 of the Immigration Status Podcast, and I'm so glad to have you here to open us up, to open the season up. So please, without further ado, please tell us why you came all the way down to New Zealand from Johannesburg, South Africa.
So,
no, Justin.
We'll have turns between who's saying what, I think, today. So we've got a younger son who's 13 now, who's here with us in New Zealand. So we're looking to a better future for him was one of the main reasons where we were in South Africa. And a few years back, we realized for his future and for our future as well, that we possibly got to be leaving our home country and looking elsewhere. And that's, I guess, where the journey all started, just that seed planted in thinking our time in South Africa. We've been hopeful, we've been believing we'll live there for our entire life, but getting to a point where that hope or that belief is then changing, and we realized it's probably time to move. So that was a starting point where we realized to leave, and then we looked at the options. So I guess it's going through the usual options when you're in a country and you see where's possible places where you can go into, what passport you're on, how you're going to get in, which country would welcome you, and then going through and kind of checking off which one's a possibility, which one not. And from what we found, New Zealand felt like that's going to be our place where we're going to come to and settle and worth looking at further. And that's when we came over for our first visit, which was back in 2018. We came over to New Zealand. So we came with just for that confirmation of, yes, this is a place we want to come to. So that was how our journey to New Zealand started.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes, and on our visit here, I saw the hills and valleys, and I thought, yep, this is definitely where we want to be.
Yeah, so we did fall in love then with New Zealand. So it was that place of coming and hoping that it's going to be the place we're hoping it is, and a place that's worth leaving behind everything we know and coming to. And we felt, yes, it is. And
who knew that hills and valleys would have that type of effect? On you? Like, honestly, hills and valleys, we come from a place, especially with Joburg. I'm from Chicago. It's big buildings and big business and this and this and that. And you see a hill and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Grass.
No building.
And we just like impressed by that, you're right. It's a nice, peaceful place to be. So you were on a visitor visa at the time. And then, so how did you guys transition into the whole work visa thing, or how did that happen?
So what happened, we came over that first time and we had a look, but it was that we were on the visitor's visa. We came very optimistic in hoping we would get a job opportunity, but that month time frame is so short. So on our first visit, I didn't get a job offer. So what that meant was when the visitor's visa came to an end, we had to fly back to South Africa.
That's right.
So we did our visit. We were reassured that this is where we're going to come to, and still had it as our plan and our belief that we will eventually get back here. So we flew back to South Africa, and then started making the next plans for the next trip here.
We already knew that we were going to come here without a job offer. So we started packing our house, everything's sold, and we told the family that we're leaving, hopeful.
Yeah, so we're hopeful. So we applied for our second visa. So then we were back in South Africa probably for, how long were we back? Probably about 6 months that we were then back in South Africa. Then did all the documentation, got our next visitor's visa, and came back over. Our first visa, unfortunately, was only for a month. So that's why the time frame was so short. Yeah. When we then reapplied, Immigration New Zealand gave us a 3-month visa. So that gave us a little bit more time to work with by coming over. We came over, like Nalize said, we had sold up most of our stuff, put the rest of our stuff in storage. All 3 of us came over with no job offer, just on the visitor's visa. Came, took a chance, stayed with some friends, and then looked for work from basically day one. Just were going full out, knowing that we've got 3 months to get this all sorted, to make sure we get a job offer, from job offer, be able to get a work visa, and be able to stay.
And that was an interim visa, right? Is that what it's called? An interim visa or interim visa? When you get a visa in between waiting on another application?
Yeah, so so we had an interim one for a very short time frame though, because what happened, basically the job offer and our next visa came in almost at that transition time where they came. Our one visa was going to expire, and I think on the Friday when it was getting that we would have had to then fly back that following weekend. It came through. So it was really a close time frame. We got the work visa, and I was able then to start working.
And what industry are you in?
So I'm in marketing. So I'm a digital marketer.
Awesome.
So that's my area of focus here.
And what about you, Nalize?
I run my own business. So I'm in digital marketing, website design, and photography.
That's awesome.
So I started the business 3 years ago. As we landed, it was basically just a transition from South Africa to New Zealand, same business, just in a different country.
Okay. And how did you find the differences running?
There's a big difference. It was, in the beginning, was very difficult. Things are different here. The community is different. The culture is different.
Yes.
So when I have to create audiences for my Facebook campaigns and that, I really have to think about it because it's completely different. The buyers' personas and people just do things differently here. So that was quite difficult for me to integrate.
You want to share one story in particular that comes to mind? That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Spill the tea. Come on.
Well, I find a certain community very difficult to work with. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say
You don't have to say that community. We can make it fun and try to figure it out.
Definitely not Kiwis, but also other immigrants. So I have decided from that day, before I take on a client, I will definitely do a personality profile and decide whether I'm going to work with this person or not. So
I feel like this is an entire podcast by itself. We can segue into this, but I won't dig too deep into it. But it sounds interesting.
And I won't let out too much. But yes, so I decided from then there's certain people that I just won't work with because, it's a new life here. I want to do things right. I want to feel at home, especially when settling here in New Zealand's been hard.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to have that part of our life a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
And not make enemies, in business.
100%.
Yeah.
I may have to pull you back for a second podcast because you just opening up a whole can of worms with that business and we'll pause. We'll go back to that. So, okay. So you guys came here 3.5 years now. And the immigration, sounds like the immigration process was fairly smooth. Had a few bumps, but fairly smooth. I guess comparing it to other people's stories. You guys came here as visitors, and then you applied, and then you end up getting an offer, and you kind of just worked your way into it and settled in, which is good. You want to let us know of? You said you fell in love in New Zealand. What was a high point? What would you consider like a really high point that solidified that love for New Zealand?
Well, I think it's all to do with attitude. Okay, first of all, when you decide to immigrate, it's all about your attitude, and then the excitement of coming to a new country and building that dream. So that's part of the journey. And then seeing the videos and the YouTube, videos, because we had to also get our son to be excited about, a change, leaving his friends behind, seeing how beautiful the country is, coming here and seeing that it's really so beautiful. Like I say, the hills and valleys, and I call it the mountain and the fountain. I always pray and say, God, I want the mountain, the fountain, and the sea view. And when we came here, that's what I noticed, and that's what made me feel at home. And I then knew this is where we're going to settle in.
The mountain, the fountain, and the sea view.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
All three.
Seeing most of those three things in our visit and in our travels makes us know this is a place and what we do like. Now we just got to match them all together in one location.
That's beautiful. Actually, I always I want a house next to water. I just want to have something, some type, even if it's a small lake. I just want to have some type of water outside my house. And mountain, that would be amazing too. That's actually a mountain, fountain, sea view. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind. That's nice. A lot of people say that about New Zealand, that the scenery. My brother came here for the first time in 2018 or 19? He visited here and he actually cried when he saw, people always laugh at this story, but it was Henua Falls. Because Henua Falls is not really, according to Kiwis, it's not like a,
so great.
It's not a tourist destination for people who've lived here their whole life. But for me and my brother, from the south side of Chicago, that was like boom, like wow, this is amazing. It's in that same category of hills and valleys, mountains, fountains. It's just like amazing to see. He actually teared up. He'd never seen anything like that. So being here, I guess if you were raised here your whole life, you probably could start taking these things for granted.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. Just like we took for granted people who are on drugs.
Yeah.
We saw that all the time. Still crackheads all the time. But it's amazing scenery here in New Zealand. So what about like a low point? What would you guys say was something that, as your immigration journey started and even begun, how did you? What could you name like a low point, something that was really, really challenging for you guys?
Yeah. I think it's probably a lot of people that have immigrated over this period with the lockdowns and COVID and border restrictions. I think that we got, it was within our first year of being in New Zealand, we're getting into our routines and settling in. And what's keeping you going a lot of the time is your hope in getting your family over, not that the time apart from people you've left behind isn't going to be so long. And then what happened with COVID and border restrictions meant that was all on hold. So we've got two other boys as well who live overseas. They're living in England.
Okay.
So
how old are they?
So in their 20s and 130 already, actually. Yeah. So they're in the UK. Our son Keanu was able to come over to visit us just before lockdown, but AJ hasn't been here. So we missed out on seeing family with them coming over. Our parents haven't been over.
Yes, and
for me, that was a low point over this time.
For me, it was just terrible not seeing the kids. And it's sad to say that my dad would now never see New Zealand because he passed away.
Sorry.
And I had to go back to South Africa to look after him for 3 months. I left Justin and Jesse, and I was able to, be with him for his last moments. But his dream was to come here. He was all settled, all ready to come. He made plans, but it never happened. So for me, that was the lowest point.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so that would be, I think, our low because it's all been on a high. There's so much we're grateful for and so much good that has happened out of it. And even we're always looking at the positives and seeing what good can come out of lockdowns and restrictions. But that was definitely now a low point in what was all a positive journey to where we are now.
And because we don't have other family, we don't have family here, we don't have friends here, so it's just really us three. And having some family members coming to visit, that was a big plus for us.
Yeah, waiting on that.
Yes. And so for us, it's just us three. I call it the party of three always at the moment. So that was the low point.
That's so hard. I hear that a lot on the podcast. It's actually the number one when I ask for people to give me the low point, it's the number one thing that comes up. That separation.
Yeah.
Oh, you can call it separation anxiety. Like it's real. Like not being with your family, and with COVID, it made it a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't even buy a ticket and they couldn't come over. It was just like, wow. And that's like the number one thing, because New Zealand is so far away. It's not like you can swim, get on a boat, get on a rowboat and go to. It's at the bottom of the earth. It's nothing lower than Antarctica. New Zealand is so far away. It took my family a while to get adjusted to it as well. And when my grandmother, not just my grandmother, but I had a few family members pass on, and I couldn't be a part of the farewell services. It's just. Yeah, especially during the COVID time. It was just really, really rough. But, okay. Moving back to, the positives about New Zealand, if you had a favorite, or if you had some future South Africans coming over here, do you have any favorite destinations or holiday spots you want to recommend? Like, what's your favorite? I know you mentioned the hills and the valleys, but it's got to be at least one place that is like blows you away.
Well, what blew me away, every year now we take a trip for my birthday for a whole month. And last year we went to Lake Tekapo. We don't know how to pronounce that because we hear often it's Tekapo or Tekapo, but that was beautiful. And Mount Cook. I felt so small next to the mountains. It was so huge and beautiful and big. And there was snowfall, and that to me was just jaw-dropping beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, so that would be our place, that what we speak about, and that's like if we have that idea of where we would want to take someone, or where's that ideal looking place for us. At the moment, it's Lake Tekapo, and that whole area going through the drives there, going to the mountains, like Nalize said, seeing the lake when the snow fell. So South Island, so we flew to Christchurch, and you drive more south, and so I don't even in the Mackenzie region. So it's the
cold.
Mackenzie. So
the
day we arrived, then it snowed. That first night we were there, and we, being from Johannesburg, we don't see snow much.
Oh,
so the first night we were there, there was a good snowfall, and we woke up the next morning to see the snow, and everywhere was white and beautiful. And then we were able to build a snowman, walk through the snow. So that was like a perfect morning to a holiday.
Wow.
The main reason for us going there is because of the aurora lights. What do you call it?
Yeah, so you get a lot of people know you get the northern lights, and but there's southern lights as well. But in New Zealand, to see it, it's a little more rare that you get to see it. But you can go to certain areas, which is by Lake Tekapo, the Dark Sky Reserve, where it's got the darkest skies in New Zealand, and there's whatever activity you sometimes need to happen so you can see.
Yeah, so in May,
Aurora.
they said there were going to be activities, so that's the reason why we decided we're going to go then as well.
Yeah.
And it started because we had notifications to say when the aurora is going to start, or there's some activity.
I've never seen it.
It's beautiful. It's like stars dancing, all colors. But yes, we didn't see a full aurora, unfortunately.
But there's the night skies are so clear.
Oh, beautiful.
There's it's just a very nice area.
Peaceful.
Wow.
And it's a small town. Small town. We enjoyed it. So Tekapo.
Well, look,
it's maybe the right.
If you're looking for a correct pronunciation of New Zealand word, don't look over here.
Okay,
I'm not the guy.
Yeah,
I can say that right now.
Okay, yeah, we say Tekapo, but I know that's wrong.
I'm definitely. I'm not the guy.
Yeah, and then you got Mount Cook. Yeah, you got
I don't know
Mount
how to say it either.
And then you can drive from there to Mount Cook, where it's a mountain where they've got the Edmund Hillary Museum at the hotel there, and that's where he, I think, learned to climb, and then eventually climbed Everest. So, yeah, it's a nice area and a lot to do. You can go on walks. Yeah, we enjoyed that area.
But we've been to so many places here in New Zealand.
Yeah, but so we would recommend to people to just travel New Zealand, drive, find a spot. Yeah. So what we do, we look for new areas, see what's recommended. We're building our own little van. Okay. So the van we have, we want to build a little kitchen and we've bought our fridge and so that we can travel. And what we like about New Zealand, which is different to what we used to, is being able to go on road trips. And because we're in a safe country and there's so many nice scenic spots to stop at, that we can pull over on the side of the road, have a barbecue.
Would you guys like mind adopting a fully grown adult African American?
We don't mind.
I want to do this, and every time I bring it up to my family, they like, it's so much hate mail I get for this, man. Like I want to get an RV. I want to take my family out. It's important to me because I went to Canada with my family. My dad took us to Canada in an RV. You know, from Chicago to Canada, that was a drive. That was cool. You know, it was in an RV to sleep inside of this thing, and the RVs are way better now, like way more advanced and just much more comfortable, more technology. I want to do it. Like I want to live that life. I want to go. I can't sell the dream. My family is not really getting the idea. I have my kids. I took them to Hamilton, and they kept claiming to being car sick. Like, first of all, you don't even know what that means. Like you're 5. Like, why are you telling me you're car sick? You know, like they couldn't even take the drive to Hamilton. Like I really love that, and just people who do that and adventurous. So,
well, with our son, he doesn't like driving or going on trips, Jesse. So we said we're putting in the refrigerator, and there will be a lot of food. So he's happy with that. So as long as he can eat on the road trip,
he'll be snacking while we drive.
So then he's happy. Me and him, we can get along because
there's
I'm
lots
the
of
same
space.
way. You feed me, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, so that's our plan, to travel freely. That's why a lot of what we do work-wise is focusing on online work, so we can be free. And travel. We homeschool our son, so he doesn't need to be in school. So that's a freedom while we're looking for our mountain and fountain.
That's why we usually take trips out of season. And there's not that New Zealand has a lot of people, but out of season, then it means there's less people and we can see more.
And it's deals as well. Like there's a lot of travel deals at that time. So on that note, do you have any immigration hacks that you would give someone who is thinking about coming over here? When we say hack, we mean like something that would kind of help them maybe get a head start on their journey.
Well, I would firstly say if you have that idea to immigrate, there must be a reason why you want to leave your country. And I would say just do it afraid, because in the end, it's just so worth it.
Oh, do it afraid.
Yep.
You're just full of one-liners. You're just full of one-liners. I love it. I mean, I'm probably going to steal some of this stuff and take it to work.
That's my motto to my children. Just do it afraid.
Just do it afraid.
Yeah.
And look for the mountains and the fountains.
Exactly. So that's my side.
And I think it would be to be adaptable to where you're coming. You got to be open-minded to what you're going to have here and what you're going to experience here, because it is different to what you have at home. So you can't, yes, we have a memory of what we have and what we've left behind, but you got to embrace what we have here. And
I've got another saying.
I'm here for it, please.
Don't bring there here.
Don't bring there here. Let the church say amen. She said, don't bring there here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
what? No, let's not.
Hacks. You can keep going.
Wait a minute, because I'm gonna start calling you Pastor Nalize in a little bit. Could you dive into what do you mean by that? Because now you got everyone's attention.
Okay. So what I mean by saying that is, if you want to, we're from South Africa. If you want to create South Africa here, you're not going to integrate into the community really. You can have your small groups and you can do your things like we do in South Africa, but the culture here is so different.
Yes, it is.
And you can't force your culture onto this culture because it's going to bring a clash, I feel. And so when you have your South African friends over, you can have a braai, that's a barbecue. And then you can be, yourself. Not that you can't be yourself, with other people, but what I'm saying is the traditions and things, it's just different here. So we need to be adaptable to that. And we need to be respectful to, the Kiwis and our new country and embrace what we have here.
Yeah.
We'll always have Africa in us, always. And we'll always miss the smell of spring and the hot weather.
Yeah, but not come here and complain because we're missing out on that. You shouldn't be coming here to complain in how things may be done here or something's different here because, like Nali said, we are the minority coming in. The immigrant arriving in a country we've chosen to make our new home, and we can't bring what we think is something better from our homeland. Yeah,
that's rich. That's so much wisdom.
Yeah, you're going to have a permanent clash, and you're never going to be happy.
It's going to be a permanent clash inside of. Yeah, we say don't grumble.
Yeah,
just don't complain. If you don't like something, don't participate or change. But just don't complain. We're not complainers.
Yeah, just embrace all the good and the little things. Appreciate all the good. Be grateful every day. And that would be a hack coming over. Just experience even the small things, whether you're seeing those hills and valleys, go for the drive, find new places to go to, find out what New Zealanders like doing, where they go to, what's big for them, and embrace that and go. So we find new places to drive to. Sometimes you may get disappointed. You got told, go to this place. It's the best, ice cream in New Zealand. And you take the 2-hour trip and you're a little bit disappointed, but you embrace what is an experience here.
And see it as an adventure.
It's your new home. Yeah.
It's a brand new
and
adventure.
Enjoy it. Yeah. So make the most of every little opportunity and be grateful.
We are very grateful waking up every morning, feeling safe. We can have our balcony door open while we sleep at night, and we can walk at night, late at night, and we don't feel scared. We come from a country where we don't have that freedom, and we couldn't walk at night. So we're extremely grateful. We are grateful every single day that we wake up in New Zealand. Hot water, what does Shane say? Machines that do our washing, our cleaning.
Wow.
Coffee.
And no load shedding.
No load shedding. Yep.
Wow. I mean, it's very rare that people can do this, but I'm speechless. So I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now. It's the introspection is just blowing my mind. But yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, we'll move into the next segment. Okay, Justin and Nalize, this has been an amazing podcast, already full of lots of introspection for me, and I've already learned to stop complaining and be a better human being altogether. But so I wanted to name this segment Community and Connection, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. Every guest that I've had on this show, so we are, this is the first episode of season 3. So everybody I've had, every community I've tapped into, it's always been more or less the same thing that comes up about how hard it is to integrate into this community coming from somewhere else, or even creating community within your circle, even trying to develop a circle. Like it's just trying to do that is so hard. And I remember doing it. I got lucky. So I don't know if I told you guys before, I'm married to a South African, who's also from Joburg. Mm-hmm. So my girlfriend at the time, they were South African, and I came here in 2010 for the first time. My mother-in-law now, South African, and my sister-in-law, the Sutu. And I got lucky because they were already a part of a church that had other African communities in it. So I got infiltrated into that community. But I look back, if they didn't have that, it would have just been us. It would have just been us 4, and that would have been the only community. And I already fight. It's isolation always, but it's hard. Just being here. So we decided to come here and live here full time in 2014. We moved back to the States for 2 years, but came back here in 2014. At that point in time, my mother-in-law had already moved back to Joburg. So it was just me, my wife, and her sister. And then we had a little baby at the time. And that was it, So we still had that old community that we had before. But for those who don't really have that kind of crutch to fall back on, there is a gap there. There is something that needs to be done to kind of connect families with families, and I haven't really seen many people doing it. So before we dive into the special platform that you guys have created, so in your opinion, what are the most common issues that new and existing migrants have when they're trying to settle into New Zealand? What do you think?
I would say building your community, building close friendships. For me, that was very hard. First of all, I needed our son to be settled in, so I tried various ways to get him to make friends. We enrolled him in football, so he's part of that. So, for me, it was very important he settles in first because he was so young. Leaving all his friends behind in South Africa was very hard for him. And then I realized, oh my gosh, we forgot about us. We don't have anybody. We've got everything to bounce off with each other. Mm-hmm. Jesse's got friends, but we've got nobody. If I maybe get angry at him, I can't run to my friend.
That's right.
So there's just nobody. And therefore, we sat one day and I said, this has got to change. We go to church. I called it church hopping. And I call it smile and wave always. Because you meet all these people, where you're from, you tell your story, it's always the same thing. And sometimes people don't want to get close to you because you're an immigrant. Sometimes they want to know your story and we think, okay, maybe there's a connection, but then we never hear from them again.
Yeah.
So I felt extremely lonely and alone, and kind of I was leaning more towards feeling depressed because I left all my friends behind. There's a time difference. I can't just call them. And we sat down one day and I said, this has got to change. We got to figure out how to build community. And we came up with this idea of House It. Now, House It is a South African word. Mm-hmm. Not sure if your wife told you.
Oh, I know all about the South African slang and all of it, yeah.
So we came up with the name House It because in South Africa we would greet House It, and decided to build this platform for families like us to meet other families with a similar background and similar situation, and it seems to connect well. Okay. So when I bounced this off the idea of other people, South African people that we know, and they say it's a great idea. People who have been here for very long said, I wish this happened, the time they arrived. So we were going to launch already December last year, but then my dad fell ill.
Yeah.
So we just prolonged the launching of that. But yes, I think it's a great platform. And
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And every person that we speak to, immigration advisors, immigration lawyers, everybody who wants to jump on board.
So it's called House It.
House It.
Now, the way I've learned to say this, House It.
House It. Yeah, Bob.
When you said it the first time, it sounded so polite, but that's not how I heard it the first time.
The thing is, we're so confused with our accents. We don't know how to speak anymore.
It's House It.
House It.
That deep, like, But so how does House It work? So House It is pretty much, it's a platform because you tell us from start to finish. Let's just say I'm a guy from Jamaica. I just got here. I've been here for 3 months and I'm really struggling, so much so that I'm thinking about going back to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. I really want to build a community. Can you walk me through how you would walk me through? And I say I have a wife and I have 2 kids. And how do we start to finish? How do we do this?
So first of all, you go to howsit.com. So it's how-zit.com. Click on there. You create your family profile. Mm-hmm. Every city, every small town is included in a search. So you put in, it's like, I don't want to say a dating site for families because it sounds weird, but it works on that principle. On the same
see
principle.
If I can open it up now.
Yes.
That's just for a talk point reference.
Yes.
So H-O-I. I do know how to spell.
Like how?
H-O-W.
Dash.
H-Y-F. No, H-O. W dash IT.
No, ZIT.
ZIT.
Yeah.
ZIT.
Did I say just IT? Oh.
No, this is why I'm
Okay.
just trying to make sure. So how-zit.com. Okay.
Yep.
So we're still in the pre-launch phase, but we'll run through with you how it's going to work. But like Nalize said, it's kind of a dating site in a sense that we're trying to match up people with similar interests, similar backgrounds, and based specifically around people who have moved to New Zealand, so immigrant families.
Yeah.
And yes, it will match people up with the same background, same country. So if we're South Africans with one child looking for people in Auckland, we can match specifically to that. But then you can match broader, and so you don't need to make an exclusively South African community or looking for only South African friends, but more other immigrants who have been through a different story.
Wow.
And why we wanted to do it countrywide is because we feel there's people coming from all over the world to all parts of New Zealand who can be in a small town, in a place not known, but there may be another group of immigrants or someone specifically from their country, and this is at least gives them an easy way to reach out from the moment they're going to be arriving in the country.
This is revolutionary.
And it can be used for new people coming into New Zealand. So we would want it to be that people arrive in New Zealand, they're not sure how to make a friend or where to find friends or what to do, and they can connect immediately. But also for people that have been here for long, because it will then mean that people who have been here for 10 years can give advice to new people who have just arrived. And because, again, they've been through that same journey. So that's the goal of the platform, to build those communities. So, yes, it's an online platform, but we don't want to be a solely online platform. We want people to connect there, but then to actually make friendships where they're meeting. Meet, because base it around their areas and actually meet in person and have those real face-to-face friendships.
Okay, it seems pretty straightforward. Do you mind if I create a profile here?
Myself. So you can create one.
So basically, this is, like you said, like a dating site. I'm coming on the profile. So I know you can't see the screen, audience, but I am logging on, and it's asking for my name, my email, what country I'm from. It's a drop-down menu. I just choose what country I'm from, and where do you live in New Zealand. Now, from there, my question is, once it goes to submit, how detailed is the profile making? Is it like, does it ask, what do you like to eat? Or like, how detailed are those questions?
So there will be a lot of questions you can answer. So it will be how many children you have, what's your occupation, what are your interests, do you like camping, for instance? You can explain a bit
so
more.
To get as many options as possible in order for us to, when people are looking for a match, that allows for that detailed filtering. So if you, like you say, if you're a man from Chicago married to a South African who enjoys camping, that if there's someone else in your area that you can find that match. So we're going to build out the profiles in a detailed way.
So my profile has been submitted.
Yeah, so what would have happened now with your profile, because we're only launching fully at the end of the month, basically this is your initial, we're gathering people,
and you guys would initially...
And then on launch, you're going to be notified to now create your full profile.
How long have you been working on this?
So like Nalize said, already more than a year.
Yeah.
It seems like it would
close to a year.
It would have taken me way longer to come up with this. This is awesome. This is really, really revolutionary.
So we are in the pre-launch phase, so we need as many immigrants as possible to submit their details before we can actually have a successful launch.
Yeah, so to have a success, because we're covering the whole of New Zealand and so many countries and locations, we don't want people to go onto the platform and not find a match. We don't want you to feel you're the only guy from Chicago in the whole of New Zealand. We want you to find...
And I've accepted that. Accepted that. It is
we're going to try prove otherwise.
I knew the other guy.
You knew the other.
He went back to Chicago.
Okay, we're going to find
it's just me now.
We're going to find that other match for you.
This is revolutionary. Look, listeners, please, if you can, if you're not from New Zealand, if you're an immigrant, on or an expat, however you want to classify yourself. This is amazing. I definitely really want you guys to get on. No, they're not paying me for this. I just really believe in it. I've just from seeing the platform, because I remember how hard it was to actually. Me and my wife joke about being in some settings where people would purposely ignore you, and it's hurtful. It's just like, oh, I don't know. It's really cliquey in certain parts, and I don't think it's a Kiwi thing. I wouldn't dare blame that on Kiwiism, because it's not. That's just a people thing. You know, that happens anywhere around the world. These cliques and these high school like cliques. You know, you're either with the cool kids or not. When you're an adult and you've moved your entire family to another part of the world, it is first day of school times 1,000. It's just like, wow, the anxiety levels, and you're trying to be sociable, you're trying to be likable, and it's just not happening, because, like you said before when you were talking about business, the integration process here is very unique. It's a very unique culture. All cultures are unique, but New Zealand is even different. The difference between New Zealand and Australia, and I chuckle because I used to say they sound alike, and they used to hate that. Like if I said that to someone in New Zealand, like even now, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's, but after living here, I can hear the difference. But coming from America, it did sound like the same accent. It sounded like the same thing, you know. But it's different, and they're very proud of their culture, and Australians are very proud of their culture. It's different cultures. And then in the culture, we talked about this on the podcast before, there's subcultures within the culture, because there's like many cultures from around the world living in New Zealand. The Fijian, Samoan, Cook Islander, Tongan community. It's all these different subcultures within the culture. And of course the Maori culture, which is, you know, the strongest. The Maori culture is the strongest, you know, here. And you see that as soon as you get off the plane, strong Maori culture hitting you in the face. Which is cool. It's a part of the thing. But all of those things just keep you even more intimidated. I don't think anyone means to intimidate us, but I think it's just like, wow, it's a lot to take in, and you just want a little piece of home. Yeah. Just a little bit. And if it's not someone from your nation, just someone that you can connect with, you know, have your kids play together with. My kids took them, actually even now, they don't really have any friends in the neighborhood. They have the friends they go to school with. But only just recently, there's another South African family that lives adjacent to us. They started playing with those little boys over there. But it's just, I don't hate to ramble, but I'm just really, really impressed with the House It platform, because what it would do is it would allow people to be excited about being in New Zealand. I think it's that one missing piece of the puzzle. Coming to New Zealand, it's more of an ideal. You wanna have your child grow up in a safer environment. I'm glad my children won't have to grow up in a place where you have to duck bullets. You know, in Chicago, you got to duck and dodge bullets and stuff like that. They will never have to worry about that in New Zealand. But in saying that, that community piece is still missing, and it's one of the reasons why. If I was to be honest with you, it's one of the reasons why I've been having chats with my wife about moving back to America. Yeah, it's really gotten, especially with the recent things that's happened with COVID. Like, it's just like that really sent, as you already, you know, expressed, it sent a shock to us, and like, okay, I may not ever see my family again. Like, that's dramatic, but at the same time, it's not, because it's reality for some people. They never saw that loved one again.
Yeah, it is a reality. But I like what you said, to have a little bit of home. And that's what I hoped House It will create. Making friends, and you have a little bit of home.
Little bit of home. Yeah.
Like what you said.
The American store helps me with that. I don't know if you've been there before. There's a store in what they call it, a shop here. There's a shop here. I'm talking to you guys. You know exactly what I mean when I said store. There's a shop in I think it's in Pamure. They sell American products. So I go there and I get just a little box of Jiffy cornbread mix. It just, you know, a little bit of home. But this is like that times a million, because to be able to connect with someone who has similar values and things like that. So with this platform, does it go a bit further? Do you guys follow up after the families connect?
No, so that's not going to be something we we're going to be involved with, because we feel it's we bringing them together, and we want people to be able to make their own choice, because you may meet someone online and it's kind of eliminating people before you have to go out and meet them and see whether you're a good match as a family, as building a family friendship, that you can see online that this is a potential good match as a family, maybe having your normal online communications, your telephone call, and then actually meeting up. So that's our main focus for now, is that giving it over to the people themselves to provide a platform where they can meet people they feel are a good match, not us nudging them too much and telling them what they should do. We'll probably have it that we, as being immigrants, having and this platform possibly leading into something more where it can just give added advice, and, having people within the housed community or from specific countries or have good input into immigration as well, that they could, help us in some, whether it's tips, whether it was a blog, whether it was some added content, but it wouldn't be in House It itself. It may just be an added resource that we would be supplying people, I would say.
Because my hope was to eliminate the possible bad friendships. Why I'm saying that is sometimes you meet people and you think it's going to be a good match just by the look of it, and then you never hear from them again, and we don't know what we've done wrong. So by creating House It, I wanted to eliminate that, because if you complete your profile and you put in who you are, what you like doing, certainly you can match yourself up to that family and you can enjoy things together. So I feel it's closer to a good match than a no match.
That bad friendship thing you actually just triggered something again. Because that's happened to me and my wife. I don't know, too many times to count, to a point where we were thinking, are we just bad people? Is it something we're doing wrong? Are we offending people? Now, there was one situation that I know I drove someone away. I can own that situation. We were playing Monopoly and I just wouldn't stop talking trash. That was probably my fault. We never heard from them again. But everybody else, we really didn't know why. We hang out one time and then that's it. We went bowling with this one couple and we never heard from them again. We were just like, wow, did they die? Or it was just what happened? Why are they gone? And it hurts, because then you start that process, that feeling of, am I supposed to be here? If you're just feeling,
you start questioning.
am I even supposed to be in New Zealand? And this is not really working out. And that's when those thoughts come back. For me, just being transparent, I fight those thoughts every week. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of good things happening for me, including this podcast, but it's still the overall community, overall trajectory of my life, because people come here for that ideal, that hills, mountains, valleys, that they come here because New Zealand is an awesome place to be. And I really do believe this could be the missing link of that landing pad. Okay, I'm here. So how many, you say you need a lot of people to log on and come into the database. How many, what's the actual number that we want to reach here?
Well, I would say for a successful launch, you can say.
Yeah, well, we're looking at the figure that we have in mind and that we're heading towards is 100,000 people, 100,000 immigrants in New Zealand.
Okay.
That once we've got that will be a good base.
Starting point.
Yeah.
100,000. 100,000 families, or 100,000.
So it would be 100,000
people who've done what I just did just now.
Yeah, 100,000 that did what you did, and then it would be Yeah, there would be families added to it. Yeah, so that we can have them creating a family profile, so that a child wouldn't have his own profile, but you if you created the profile, you'd create one for the Turner family, and the Turner family is looking to match up with
the Browne family.
The Browne family.
So at what point, I definitely will be trying to link up with the Browne family, especially if we going on RV trips and there's a lot of snacks involved. I'll be there. But at what point will that profile turn into a full profile? Because I've only just put in my basic details.
Yeah. So that's what we're working. So that should be the end of October.
End of October?
End of October.
And then I'll get an email to say, hey,
so what will happen now, you'll get one email now would have come through, and then you get a journey, a couple emails that will just keep you updated, explaining to you exactly how It is going to work, what to expect, and then to give you an option to share the profile with friends, because how this can get out there more while we're dealing a lot with immigration advisors and whether it's different ethnic communities and different organizations, is for the more people to buy into this like you are and thinking it's a great idea, for the immigrant community already to get their current friends and family members to start signing up so we can grow it organically before we launch. This
is amazing. This is outstanding. So what are you guys doing right now to kind of get the word out? Is it just only word of mouth at the moment?
No. So we've got Facebook campaigns. We're doing email campaigns. We dealing directly with immigration consultants and immigration advisors. Nalize is on, so that's been a big focus of hers. So building connections and partnerships. So having different collaborations with immigration agencies. We're busy working with, so where there's been changes to, the visas and the accreditation at the moment. So with the agencies having to provide, what's it called, settlement packs for, people coming over who've been employed by new companies here that need to now be accredited. They need to make that settlement process easier for them. So getting our details into their settlement packs so that people know when they've got that question on how is that transition in moving to New Zealand going to be easier, sign up to House It. So we're dealing broadly through those channels.
Have you guys thought about working income as well?
We haven't.
Maybe a good start over there as well.
Okay.
But no, this is, I'm actually really, 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 really excited for you. Anything I can do along the journey, definitely let me know. I got a big mouth. So
thank you.
I can definitely, so one thing I can do is talk, everyone has that one gift. That's mine. I'll definitely keep talking about this. And if you don't mind, you don't have to share, but I was going to ask you, how far have you gotten on the 100,000 mark? Are you...
I think we're on 1%.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah. We're needing to start getting some traction. It has been a little bit slow, but we're getting some good traction at the moment. And we're trusting, it's all coming together. So there's been a lot of different pieces that we've been working on at the moment. And in the last probably month or so, even chatting to you about this and being now here to speak further about it, it's all coming together over what's been, a long period of planning and working towards getting the things in place. And now we're starting to see that traction and results.
Okay. So all the information is there on the website. So anybody who wants to know more about it.
So what they can do, they can go on. The best thing would be for people to submit their details to initially, like you had done now, for them to just get updated via email from us, as well as being notified as soon as we launch. We have now as well got a Facebook page, just where we can just keep up to date with people as well, just so we can update people on progress. And what else, my love? Yeah, I think those.
I'm just communicating with all the immigration lawyers and advisors. And like I say, they're all very excited about this project. And so I'm getting ready information packs for them so they can share it with possible immigrants or people who are visa ready now. So I'm sending through digital information packs to them and some printed ones, because some immigration advisors are flying overseas and then they would like to, give some information to their clients in hand. So I'm busy working on that. And then we're busy working on partnerships, different partnerships with these immigration advisors and lawyers, just so it can be beneficial to, for both parties. Okay. So I've been working now for the past month on the email list and communicating with people, and every single day we have hits.
Yeah.
People just love this idea. So it will be a success. We are very positive. We are looking forward to, the successful launch of this and for House It just to grow. Not only for New Zealand. So, we've got bigger dreams as well, where the children are in England. They would also like to do that, to launch House It there. But for now, New Zealand's our focus point.
House It in UK. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, look, unless you guys have any final thoughts, I'm done with this amazing. I'm just so excited to see it, get off the ground. So just I'll give you the website one more time for everyone listening. So it will be House It. So that's HOW-ZIT, or New Zealanders say ZIT, HOW-ZIT.com. And you can come on, and I'm definitely I'm literally just please go online. And if you're an expat or an immigrant like myself, go online, just put your profile in and just help with the cause. Every name counts. Every little name counts. So let's just push and let's help this wonderful couple do this and change the entire. I think it would change the entire face of how immigration is done. Doing this, I mean, it's amazing. But unless you have any final thoughts, I want to say thank you so much for coming on to the show and launching episode 1 of season 3 of the Immigration Status Podcast. Do you have any other final thoughts? Any more wisdom nuggets? No?
Add one more.
You're going to have a fan club after this?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Justin, and thank you, Nalize.
Thank you, Myron.
And hopefully we'll have you back on maybe a future episode.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. I cannot believe how amazing that episode was. That was episode 1 of season 3, Immigration Status Podcast. Still can't believe we're back. 3rd season. So that was Justin and Nalize Browne with their amazing immigration story and the new platform, House It. Please tap into that when you can. Big thank you to our sponsors, Navigators, Ministry of Ethnic Communities, Uranga, and of course, the wonderful Campfire Studios for providing this amazing facility. Continue to watch because we have some new guests coming in for season 3 and even more exciting topics to get into. Just stay tuned because I got something up my sleeve.